Spoilers, people. Well, this is going to be one of those episodes where there's not going to be any editing, period. My computer blew up, and I have all of my editing stuff on the other computer. So until I can get everything set up properly, I want to be able to get the stuff out and going through. This is going to be a heavily spoiler episode. There's going to be no fancy music, no fancy editing, or anything of that nature. So hopefully the next time we get everything recorded, I'll be back up to the status quo. I have a brand new machine that's a lot better than my old machine, so hopefully I'll be able to get everything done and put out quickly as possible. So until then, listen to the show, and glad that we're back. Fuck you, COVID-19.
Spoilers, people! There are going to be a lot of spoilers today, as we're trying to get back into the swing of things, even though we all feel like we can't get back into the swing of things.
Because everything is insane. We're doing the best we can. Bill had some crazy technical difficulties with his connection and his laptop catching fire and smoking some shit. We're poor and our equipment is crap, and Bill's laptop finally quit in the most dramatic way possible.
Yeah, I got a new laptop literally yesterday, and I haven't hooked up the other equipment that Vanessa purchased yet, just so we can try to get this out and running. So the next time you hear it, it'll be sounding a lot better. But yes.
Also, you've had plague, and I've been juggling. My work has decided to be extra crazy. I just officially got quasi laterally moved. It's not really a promotion. It's just, here's more work. You may or may not get more money.
That's a little bit of what we're going to talk about. But when we say plague, we do not mean, for me, COVID-19. This is the same plague I got last year at the same exact time. Go check out our archives, where I was coughing and choking and couldn't breathe.
So you got COVID like 13? Is that what you got?
I had COVID. This is all allergy based.
You goddamn hipster! You had it before it was cool.
Before it was cool.
And today we also have Alpha Rift on.
What up?
Because one of the bits of spoilers we're going to talk about, when I say a lot, is we're going to goob about Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Ooh, yes.
Why are we goobing about it, you might ask, on a feminist podcast? There are so many reasons. You're going to learn if you hang along. But warning, I'm going to put this out here. We are going to cut for some major spoilers, but the original game is like 20 years old. So stuff that's new will spoiler.
Yeah.
But other shit, you've had forever to read the strategy guide or play the game.
Stuff that's new will spoiler and put to Patreon, because that's gonna be Patreon content. But
yeah, some of it's pretty intense, and I'm really excited to be a nerd with another Final Fantasy fan, because nobody in this house is excited as I am.
I beat the original 7 when it came out. But other than that, that's it.
I couldn't.
So, before we get into everything business, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for our Patreon subscribers for continuing to subscribe. You're great, even though I lost the last episode because my computer exploded.
Oh no, we lost the last episode. I don't even remember what it was.
That's where you got all squishy about Amy Acton.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
If I'm able to get to the data, I'll put that to Patreon. But right now, I can't get to the data.
Yeah.
At least I have the data, but I just need to get to it now.
Okay.
So, besides that, thank you for being around. Everybody can go to our website at www.xchromosomepodcast.com. That's where you'll find all of our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on everything but TikTok. Because none of us wanted TikTok. Maybe we'll hire one of
We'll hire somebody young and pretty to be on TikTok.
Yeah, Coco work.
No, Coco has tons of anxiety and will not be on TikTok.
But yes, we will go through and help support us. Also on that page is merchandise, also direct payments to PayPal, just so we can not have to go through and rush around and be able to collect all of our stuff before everything's due next year. And also we're going to be having paywalls that are going to need to continue to be up from the previous year. So thank you for the support with that. Also, go to not only to our Facebook, but if you're on any of the podcasting platforms that like, subscribe, rate, review, do that. Let our algorithm stand so we get more listeners to help fund the podcast so we don't have to worry about sponsors. We do have sponsorship opportunity, but they're going to be very, very, we're going to be very picky about them because we're not going to want to be censored, and they're going to have to deal with that. Did I miss anything?
No. Not that I can remember. It's been a hot second since we've done this.
All right, so let's just briefly go ahead.
One thing. Call back to a previous episode where we lost our shit about the NFL draft and boats and ferrying that whole thing in Vegas that's not happening. It is. The draft is still going on. It's all virtual. Good luck, gentlemen. May none of you get stuck in Cleveland forever.
Well, Barrow might be stuck in Cincinnati, but
that's okay. Burrow is from that area. He'll just stay there. He'll do a workman-like job. He'll get paid. He'll support Southeastern Ohio.
But beyond that, unfortunately, my team decided that Eli Manning's last game playing, they were going to win, so they are no longer going to be able to draft Chase Young. Because they didn't suck that much, as the Redskins will probably have Chase Young.
Oh my god, did they pick yet?
It's Washington, as of this moment, it's Washington's time on the clock.
Who did they pick?
They're going to pick...
Oh, they picked Burrow, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bengals picked Burrow. That's been mocked since, like, the end of college football season. But anyway, so
at least that debacle of ferrying black men to the white men who are buying them is avoided.
Yep. Oh yeah, and that bitch. Did you hear about the mayor of Las Vegas?
Oh, that's one. That bananas.
Jesus Christ. Why did I watch that whole interview and I was just like, I feel for Anderson Cooper right now in the worst way possible. Like he ended up like wiping his face and I was like, why is that literally everybody right now? Like, how are you going to say, why don't we just be a test case to see if this actually does or doesn't work? Like, what? Excuse me. What?
Yeah, I get that Las Vegas is built on, games of chance, but in life, death is the house, and the house always wins.
Right. I guess if you're just looking at it like, well, the people who come in and spend money are usually, like white people, so they'll just leave. And then the people who are trapped here are generally like poor or minorities, so we can just kill them off. It doesn't matter. Like, that's all I heard. That's all I heard her say. Because of course she's not going to be anybody who's like in the way of anything COVID related. Like, she's going to be in some type of sanctuary. She's going to be safe, and she's just going to look and be like, wow, I didn't know that would happen. I mean, everybody knows that would happen. Literally every doctor, every scientist is telling you don't do anything remotely close to this. And somehow you thought you could be because you read an article once and you were like, you know what, they need control for when they do science experiments. The control is everywhere else. You don't need to do this. You don't need to be an outlier. Literally, you're trying to play with lives, and the lives are minorities and poor. Don't fucking do this. This is the most ridiculous thing. But after, the US like federal administration, like it makes sense that there's people just like that, and they're being out and out, just blatantly bigoted in every single way possible. And this is it's amazing. And then you just still have people feeding into it, not believing that, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with socioeconomics or race or so on and so forth. I'm like, everything is built on that. But all right. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Ohio, we've had experts in the Columbus area talking about the health equity disparity.
Jesus. I saw a meme that was like, said something to the effect of everything needs to close down. Well, there was that, but it was something to the effect of like, yeah, we need to close everything down, everybody needs to stay home. And then there was something that came out that said like, yeah, blacks are more susceptible, but it's like, well, because poorer blacks usually don't have access to healthcare, and the disproportionate like way of blacks versus whites versus Asians versus whatever when it comes to healthcare and being seen by a doctor, like minorities are on the shit end of that list. So then all of a sudden people are like, well, we need to open everything back up. Is that because most of the people who will be quote unquote serving you are minorities and the poor, and you just looking at a way to kill them off? Is that funny how that works?
I think that every delivery person that I've ordered Grubhub through or Uber Eats through or anything like that has been a minority.
Yeah.
Because they have to live. People have to live.
Right.
So people are losing their livelihoods. I'm one of the lucky ones. I get to do my job from home. And my part of the company is pretty much strong, so I don't have to worry about losing my job. Mm-hmm. However, other people still have to worry about that, especially those that really do a lot of gig economy type stuff. You've lost multiple conventions because of this.
Mm-hmm.
This was going to be Noel's first Ren Fair like gig of the season this coming weekend, but that's gone too. So,
yeah. And that's 100 individual vendors and about 20 performers and a food pantry that are not getting what they need at getting their usual income this time of year. My festival is also a donation. It's free with a canned food donation. It's basically bring canned food, have fun doing Ren Fair stuff. But they get pallet loads of food every year. This little tiny town. It's called Asheville, Ohio. If you've gotten to Circleville, you've gotten too far. It's south of Columbus. Little tiny town. It's one of those places that's getting hit hard. It's not great to, they're not a wealthy suburb to begin with. And then this, and, their food pantry is hustling in a good year. This year it's needed more than ever. And this year we don't know we haven't quite figured out how to help them yet. Which is stressful. Are you talking to Nancy?
I talked to Nancy and she did not. She gave me the name of the place, which is Asheville Food Pantry. But I haven't had a chance to talk to Kroger yet.
Okay. Yeah. We're trying to find a way to help them because, again, they're the people who are getting hit the hardest. They're the people who need monthly stimulus checks. They're the people who are poor. They're the people who are. I can't say there are a lot of minorities, but they're the marginalized. And then the Ren Fair community has been crushed, and with, I don't know, how many shows have you lost?
I mean, I was supposed to be at South by Southwest, so that was 3 shows that I was probably going to play there. 2 of them I know were locked solid, and we were working on the 3rd one. So just being there, like the whole networking opportunity was gone. I've lost multiple cons, so each month I was supposed to be at some con of some kind. And now at this point, I mean, we're looking at probably not doing anything con related for the rest of the year. I mean, for me, I'm lucky because I do have a day job. So it's like, while the con stuff does bring in income, and that is kind of where I was going, you know, in terms of career wise and being able to just do that for a living, you know, I did have a fallback, and it's an industry, like I work in logistics. So it's an industry that always needed. So even when everything else is falling apart, you still have to ship stuff. So, you know, I'm still working. I still work every day. I get up every day. I have to go down to my kitchen and sit there and, you know, in the kitchen and like do my work and everything. But it's like I've lost all of that. But then just not being able to, not even so much just travel, but even just doing local shows. Just all the local shows are just done, you know, and I'm in numerous groups where people are trying to figure out how to make things work. Because, yeah, we have people who are streaming on Twitch and doing concerts, but
Can we please call for ship?
it's weird how people don't. They'll look at something like an online stream and they'll be like, man, that's dope to see you in concert doing your thing on an online stream, but these people still aren't buying merch. So yeah, that, I mean, it's cool that you watch somebody like performing, but most of these people, especially, you know, a lot of the bigger people that I do shows with, their lifeline was merch. Their lifeline was going to a venue and getting paid, you know, $200-$300 per night going to each venue. And that was that was the gas money to get to the next spot, to pay for the hotel at the next city, to then sell merch, to rinse and repeat. And then at the end of the year, you know, they're only looking at maybe like $30,000, which we know is not enough to really live on. And now that's gone. So like, what do they do? You know, it's, everybody's struggling, and it's just, it's hard. It sucks. It sucks that I can see every other like established country in the entire world actually taking care of its citizens and doing something every month so that people have consistent income. And then we look at the US and we are a fucking joke.
Where GoFundMe is our best insurance policy that we have.
And I can't even believe that that's a thing. Like that, it blows my mind that to pay for food, groceries, medical supplies, any of this, that you have to be like, hey, I just put a GoFundMe up. Can you guys help me? I'm like, I talk to friends in every other like quote unquote developed country, and no one is saying this. They're saying, well, yeah, you know, I got laid off, or I can't go do my job right this second, but I'm getting this monthly, or I'm getting this weekly, or this is a thing I don't have to worry about. And they don't have to worry about electricity or rent or anything. They won't get penalized if they don't pay these things. When things get reinstated, they won't owe any back pay. Where we're looking, and we know for a fact that landlords are going to straight look at us and be like, oh yeah, you owe me back pay for the last 4 months that you didn't pay me, even though there was a rent freeze in this state. It's like, how the fuck are people going to pay that? It's not like the jobs are immediately going to come back. So how we are so far behind when it comes to anything that it blows my mind. And then people and you know, artists that already were living show to show. It's like even worse than paycheck to paycheck. At least the paycheck, you know, is coming. You go to a show, you might break even, you might undersell, you might oversell. You don't know. And these people were living show to show, and now that's gone. And the way that people already viewed art, and they viewed music, and they viewed, you know, cosplay and fashion design, all of these things was, well, can't you just give me that for free? They already thought that. So what happens when these people don't have money to pay for anything, and they're still wanting to consume art and music? They're going to be like, well, I really can't pay you now. Can't you really just give it to me for free? And these people were already struggling. Like it's a fucking mess.
So if you can, listen to everybody. Try to support whatever artists that you can. If you like somebody, throw them some money, buy their merch, go to download their streams if you can. Like, one of the things that I have on my streaming platform, I usually use Apple Music. Tell me to change otherwise, but I have Alpha Riff stuff up streaming whenever I use my Apple Music.
I appreciate that, man.
Because any little thing helps out. I'm not made out of money, but I could go through and throw a couple of bucks at his Patreon. I could stream his music on his platform. Do what you can to go through and help out your fellow artist or crafter or anything like that. This is the time that we all need to buckle down to try to help each other out, because unfortunately, unless some miracle happens, the government isn't going to do it. So this is what I call not pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, pulling other people up by your bootstraps. People need to be being pulled up. This is your opportunity if you can do that.
But Bill, that's socialism. Dun, dun, dun.
Fuck you.
Insane. We're not going to get into the 6+ to the minimum of $6,000 my husband stands to lose if we lose our 2 shows. That's just us. That's not my boss who lost Emerald City Comic Con, who's lost other conventions. If they cancel Dragon Con, that's a huge hit. Half of my friends list is performers and vendors at cons and Renaissance festivals. They're really hurting.
And some of these crafters are doing what they can to make medical equipment if they can.
Yeah, they're making masks. Look, if you're getting a Renaissance festival garb seamstress made mask, you're going to be able to beat the shit out of that thing. Because most of these people make stuff for people who are on the circuit, where you don't know what the condition of the commercial washer you're going to be throwing your clothes in is going to be, because you're on the road. And it needs to stand up to that kind of abuse. There are some groups. I'm sure you found them, but I don't know if we've got any for performers. But Marcon canceled in Ohio. I still haven't heard back about authors and vendors who got hosed from that, which frustrates me. But because I asked, hey, what's going on? Can I get a list of vendors and artists? We can support them anyway. Because shows close. Studio Decide, they do a ton of conventions. I'm sure you've seen them at South by Southwest. They do really bitchin' cool art. They've been making masks. They've literally turned over everything they do into. They have bandanas that they sell, then t-shirts. They've turned over all of their textile business into making masks that they can make a little money. My boss is working with one of his friends to fabricate face shields. Between the two of them, they have all the tools to make stuff. So it's these little people who are putting this country on their backs and carrying them.
It shouldn't be that way, but it has to be.
And what's going to end up happening is when all of this pans out in the end to be whatever it's going to end up being, these same people are going to be looked at as not good enough, or
and that's when you kick people in the balls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with everybody for a moment. All right. On a personal level, mental health wise, this has been the best thing that's happened for me. All right. Now, I don't commute to work anymore. I have more energy. I feel like I get more things done. I haven't actually been personally depressed during this whole entire thing. I've gotten a little bit of cabin fever every once in a while, but generally I've been okay.
I've been exhausted.
I am one of the lucky
Yeah.
ones in regards to this, because I'm trying to like basically filter through a new normal, and it just goes to show that everything that we're doing now with all the work from home stuff was able to be done before. And all the opportunities that people that are disabled or things of that nature could have benefited and helped with society and helped themselves, that this whole entire thing is just showing that it's about corporate gains and a bunch of billionaires not wanting to lose any more money so they can't buy a new yacht.
Yeah.
So basically, I've been telling my therapist the same exact thing because I'm still seeing my therapist via FaceTime, basically. But I'm like, look, I know I'm different, that I feel better and I feel good, but I have to mourn like everybody else, because just because I feel good, it doesn't mean that I can't be pissed. So let's go on to happier things. You guys, what do you think I say about that?
I mean, we can go on to happier things, or I can for a second about these faux posts. I posted from my governor on our We All Have an X-Chromosome page. I shared his comments about the current protesters. I captioned it, "The governor of Ohio says Nazi and Trump cultists fuck off." Just for saltiness, I want to say one tiny thing. Y'all could have had Kasich. I don't like Kasich. I don't like DeWine. I don't like either of these men because they're a threat to my health as a non-male. They believe in shit that's not safe for me. They also do some other dumb shit. But right now, you could have had an Ohio leader who actually knows how to handle things. But no, you voted for the clown show. And this is what you get. So, I'm done being salty. Please go check out Governor Mike DeWine to read his stance. You may have heard that our governor and our public health director, Dr. Acton, have developed a bit of a cult following, even now. Some people are calling her Dr. Doom, but she's doing her fucking job. She's constantly talking about the worst case scenario, so that we're pleasantly surprised when she's wrong.
Oh, but that
sounds like my life. Worst case scenario, so I'd be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that's also my life. I'm very much into assuming the worst and then being pleasantly surprised.
Any salt for you before we go, Alpha?
No. I'm salted out.
All right. I just before we go to the next thing, I just want to state for the record that this is happening during the NFL draft. 2 Ohio State Buckeyes have been drafted second and third. Chase Young and Jeff Okuda.
Okuda? Okay.
Yep.
Who'd Okuda go to?
He went to the Lions.
I think that's where they thought he was going to go. And they were absolutely certain that if Cincinnati did not draft Burrow, that, Chase was going to go. If they did draft, as they did, Young was going to go second.
Yep. So far, the first three draft picks have played out like almost every single mock draft ever.
And interestingly, they were all developed at Ohio State.
All right. So let me just ask one question. I want to ask the expert about this. Alpha.
Oh.
I'm like, which one's the expert? Because I know Noelle knows her shit. So which one's
Oh,
the
shit.
expert?
One of the things that, besides coronavirus news, that pops up on everybody's feeds is the cult of Animal Crossing.
Oh my god, yes.
I almost bought a Switch to join the cult, but since the Switch wasn't going to arrive until May, I was like, oh well, I can't join the cult. Then my computer fried. I'm like, oh well, I really can't join the
really
cult.
can't join the cult now. Oh, I mean, what do you want to know? Because I mean, I'm still logged in on the Switch in the other room. I just didn't bring it in here because I knew it would distract me while I was playing.
Oh my god.
So, how is basically this is the premise I understand. Everybody works for a capitalistic raccoon.
No. Okay. Like, all right. So
Yeah, all I know is Tom Nook, your fucking posts and screen caps, and you being ridiculous with your boo in your virtual dates.
Because
Tom
does
Nook
it all
is
for
a
the
capitalist yeah, Tom Nook is a capitalist bastard. Bell's turnips, virtual dates. That's all I know.
So, all right. So, really, the messed up part is like Tom Nook gets this really bad rap because we compare him to how we see businessmen. But you have to understand there's actually no interest in the Animal Crossing world, and that he fronts you alone and never asks you he never sets a date for payback. You can pay it back as you want, and when you pay it back, he just goes, okay, now I can develop more for you and then continue. So you don't ever have to pay your loan back to him. He will never badger you about it. He will never ask about it. There's no interest, so there's nothing going up. He always gives you whatever help he needs. His backstory is actually that he was destitute when he was younger, and one of the things that he wanted to do was he had to find this backwater town. This was like the original Animal Crossing. He had to find this backwater town, and he was like, well, I want to build this town up so that the people in this town can have modern luxuries without having modern debt. And so you moved to the town because you were trying to find your way, and out of anybody who could help you, he was like, well, I'll tell you what, to build a home, it costs this much. I'll front you the money so you can build the home. You can pay me back, or if you just don't pay me back, like, you just won't get expansions to your home. So Tom Nook is not bad. He's actually what businessmen should be. They should be about like broadening the community at large and not trying to be a profiteer themselves. He makes money in other ways. But this one, the new Animal Crossing, is about basically going to a deserted island. Tom Nook is like, hey, I got two other people who also want to go to this deserted island. So it's your first two villagers. And then you get to go there. You get to drop down all the tents. You get to do crafting. You get to basically like build up your house, build a museum. What else do you get? You get to build a campsite so people can come visit your island. And now they made it so that you can fly to other people's islands. I know you could visit other people's towns and stuff in some of the other versions. But this is the first one since the original GameCube version where it was on a console. All the other ones were on handheld. So they were on like the DS and stuff. But this one, it's like you log in, you're able to, you can design stuff in this like little pixel creator that they have in there, and you can like send it to your friends, or you can import stuff. So I literally can take pictures with my phone, upload them to a service that can digitize them, and then use the QR code and import it into the game. So I have my Horseman banners from Digital Champion stuff. Somebody digitized one of my albums. A bunch of other.
That's cool.
Yeah, a bunch of other people have digitized albums, artwork. I saw somebody made a Hot Topic in their house. So they had like all the album art from like 2005 to like 2008 was like up in their house, like t-shirts that you'd be able to, go buy, and they put other stuff up and kind of designed it to look like Hot Topic. People have actually been creating cons in there. So San Diego Comic-Con, one of the people, I guess, that works there or whatever, actually for his island created the con. So you go in.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Tables. Yeah, there's like vendor tables. And I mean, nobody's actually getting paid, but it's an experience. Like you can go in, you can talk to people while you're standing there. So there was vendor tables. He told if you arrived there, he said you had to dress up in cosplay because every couple hours they would do a cosplay contest. and then they would give people bells, which are the money for the, you know, in the universe or whatever. They give them bells, they give them different drops, different shirts and stuff, so you could kind of dress your character up however you want it. And I don't know, it's just it's The Sims if The Sims was not stressful, because I feel like The Sims. I love The Sims. Like, don't get me wrong, I love The Sims, but you have to put in cheat codes so that you can enjoy The Sims.
Hey, I'm currently. I was before my computer died. I was playing a non-cheat code game.
I mean, listen, I get it, but when are you sitting there and you want your sim to like learn how to write better or playing guitar, and they have to pee, and you're like, God damn it! Now I have to wait for the slow ass animation to finish of you finishing up whatever it is. You have to stand up, then the system has to reset and think about what you're about to go do next. Now you're gonna finally go pee, and then by that time it's been 3 hours, because apparently it takes you 3 hours to get up out of your seat and go pee. Animal Crossing doesn't have that. Like, you can just you do stuff at your own pace. You enjoy it. It has really relaxing music, like just really relaxing music. It's the only game that I can fish in and not be pissed off, because fishing in all games pisses me off. This is the only game where I go fishing. Like, I put the fishing pole in my little hands and I go up to the river and I feel so relaxed. I just cast that line, and all you have to do is you either listen for the little bobber to make this sound, or like you can watch it go under the water a little bit and you just yank that fish out. Like, you don't have to, there's no mini game you have to play to figure out if you can even catch this fish. It's nothing like that. Either you catch it or you don't. That's it. I mean, it's such a relaxing game. It's just, after like the most stressful day, you know, you log in and, you know, like Noel said, I have me and my girl, like, we go on there and we do our little dates, because we can't see each other right now. So we go to the museum, or because in the museum you can collect fossils and fish and bugs and stuff, and you donate them to the museum. So then you can go and look at them on display. And the fish move around like real fish. You can just sit there and take like cute little pictures. And the fossils, he like, the guy Blathers is the dude who runs the museum. He can actually tell you about the fossils, the bugs, the fish. So I've been learning like actual real life shit about different dinosaurs, different bugs. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know that bug did that. And it's an actual educational kind of experience. But then when you're in there, the music is real soft. It's, you know, kind of romantic. Like, you feel it, you know. Animal Crossing, like, everybody should play. It just relaxes you. I'm just saying.
All I know is between you guys with Animal Crossing, well, everybody with Animal Crossing, basically.
Everybody with Animal Crossing. Oh my god.
Between you and Noel with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I almost bought a Switch. I almost bought a PlayStation 4, but with the PlayStation 4, I would have also had to buy a monitor or something like that just to work with that. But between everything, it was like, all right, I want all these things now just because. And Final Fantasy VII has been a nostalgia factor for me more than anything. So I'm just gonna wait till it gets on PC, and hopefully within the next year or something like that. But
good luck on that one.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that part at least. But anyway, so this next part, people, is going to be extremely spoiler heavy. We're going to try to go through, as Noel mentioned at the beginning, this game is 20-something years old in general. So some things we're going to talk about that is going to be based on the base game, but there's anything really spoiler related, before you guys speak about it, just say spoiler so I can go through and edit it, because I'm doing the editing again. So,
okay.
Final Fantasy VII, Noel.
Okay, let me tell you where I come into this. So,
okay, I'm ready.
I played it on the PS1 for about 3 hours, the original. And the attempts to have three-dimensional movement in a 2D space, the UI, the everything, it was so clunky. I mean, and this is PS1, mind you. Things aren't great. I played shitty games on the PlayStation, okay? I'm coming to Final Fantasy as a fan, and from 8-bit. I played the original, so I'm coming to this game. I played it for 3 hours, and I put it down because I could not progress. The UI didn't interact with me. So I didn't really get through anything but the Mako reactor. So everything after that point in the remake was shiny and new to me. So I did.
Shit.
What?
I said, "Oh shit."
Yeah. So my first playthrough, from boot up to last cutscene or end of last cutscene, was about 35 hours. I crushed it in a long weekend. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I destroyed it.
Oh.
I slept for about a total of 8 hours. But everything that I had a problem with from a UI standpoint was gone. With the lack of fixed camera now, I could actually figure out where I'm going. I'm really bad with spatial relations, so the fixed cameras on the PS1, while they were spooky as fuck for Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 and that shit, that doesn't work when you're trying to do a city that's in layers like Midgar is. You need to be able to see. And yeah, I have stopped and I've pivoted the camera and I've looked up or I've panned across the landscape. This game is one of the most beautiful things I have ever spent time on the last 3 years of gaming. And I play ESO, which is a consistently gorgeous game. Elsewhere is now tied with the Final Fantasy VII Remake in terms of most beautiful places I have been in the last 12 months.
Like, oh shit. Like just given my history with Final Fantasy. So I started with Final Fantasy 1 on NES.
Yes.
I
Rat
played
tail.
So I played 4 when it was 2 because I remember renting it from Blockbuster like a couple months after it came out. Played the hell out of that. I played 6, which was 3. My friend bought it on release day, and me and him played it over the next couple of weeks. And then I finally bought it like almost a year later. And we're talking, I was in like 8th grade, I think, 7th or 8th grade when that came out. So I skipped 7 at first because I was a Nintendo fanboy and I hated Square for abandoning Nintendo and so on and so forth. And then I came around when it was like $19.99 and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just get a PlayStation. Like, who cares? I got a Sega Saturn, I got a PlayStation. I just want to play RPGs. I am the biggest Final Fantasy fanboy on planet Earth, but there's ones that I absolutely hate. Like, I hate 13. I refuse to play it ever again.
Oh my god, I love 13.
Oh god, no. All right, I gotta go. Bye. Click.
Okay, there's some dumb as fuck shit, but I like how most of the relationships that drive the plot are sibling or queer.
I do like so I will say for 13, having women and having them because I don't even think it's explicitly said, but you get the idea that these are queer relationships, that these people are not just friends, they're not just roommates, they're not just whatever. So you can see, like, you can see that
Fang and Vanille are totally a couple.
Yeah, like you can see that they the way they act and they interact is like, it's not just platonic love, not that doesn't mean anything. It's not just familial love, not that doesn't mean anything, but like it's a different, so it's one of another form of loves, and I love that. I hated everything else with it. I was like, I'm not doing anything with this game. But I hated 13. I love 8, which a lot of people hate 8. So I'm like, whatever, like we can fight. Like I said, 7 at first I hated. I was so mad about it. And then I played it and I was like, I don't really like the characters too much. They seem a little one-dimensional to me, which now that I've played the remake,
they're super flat in the original.
They are very flat in the original. The remake fleshes them out so well. Jesus Christ.
Now, my
Barrett and his daughter. Let's just start there.
Oh my God. Okay, so Noel, I know you didn't finish like the original game or anything, but you know the full story, right?
I know what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
I've read all the spoilers. I actually read the strat guide because I'm like, this is the only way I'm ever going to get to interact with this game and know what's going on. And
oh God, I've done that for so many fucking games.
I collect strat guides, so.
Oh, nice. Barrett and Marlene.
Oh my God, I loved it.
I need you to understand,
precious.
like, I cried so many times on this game, but Marlene and the way whoever voice acted Marlene, I need them to come in here because I need to hug them and cry on their shoulder because their delivery, the things that Marlene said, just everything about her, and then the way that Barrett, when you're controlling him, or he's talking to Cloud, or he's just out in the world, he's acting like a hard ass, but you can tell he's a hard ass who actually has that complete heart of gold. And
yeah, he's more than just a knockoff Mr. T stereotype,
right?
Which is where you can tell where he started,
right? And it's funny because when I first played the demo, I was like, oh Jesus, like they're gonna make Barrett talk and jive the whole time. But I feel like the demo wasn't a real good cross section of what his character would end up being as it went forward, because his deliveries and everything stopped grating on me. Like I still didn't want him to have like that jive personality, but what he would say, the things he was breaking down, the reasons why he was saying, I'm like, I wanted to be part of Avalanche, and I really wanted to go bomb Shinra like yesterday.
Oh yeah, like yeah, they made me. Shinra is fuck Shinra. I mean, Barrett very much believes in what he's saying, and that comes across. And I love to me, because I'm white, I don't know if they consulted, but it sounded more like they tried to shade Barrett with more AAVE and correct. Use AAVE correctly.
The voice actor that they have, the English voice actor, I shouldn't say the American, the English voice actor, who is he? Because I literally just looked these people up the other day. But it's a black dude who voice acts like a million different characters. John Eric Bentley.
Yes.
So
I just pulled up the cast so we can refer it.
Right. He's perfect. He's perfect for Barrett. And like after a while, I said like his delivery, some of the things he was saying stopped bothering me as much. And especially when, as you're going through it, because I know we're not like going a storyline order, but as you're going through it, the way he's talking to Cloud, and then the way Cloud is talking back to him, and you can see at first that they were clashing, and then after a while they stopped clashing, and it's like, we have to do this shit together because this is far bigger than us. And I just like that interplay. And then how Barrett would be soft with Marlene, and like when they were in Aerith's house, and Barrett is like, you have to stay here because Daddy needs to go save the planet. I said, shit, Daddy do need to go save the goddamn planet right now.
I know, I did feel that.
He's also Nick Fury in everything, it seems.
Yeah, and like almost every animated thing, he does. God, his list of stuff he's done is just massive.
Yeah, I'm looking through his IMDb right now, and every time Marvel comes up, he's Nick Fury.
So, all right. So since we kind of got to get this part out the way, with spoilers, Final Fantasy VII Remake, it is not a remake.
No, it is not a beat for beat remake.
It's not a remake. And when I got to the end of this game, my jaw fucking dropped, and I said, "Excuse me, what?" So
Now,
again, hold on, Bill, hold on. Again, spoilers.
Spoilers, because we're gonna geek out about the last fight sequence. The Harbinger of Whisper.
Okay.
Aerith's speech before they go into the portal.
Oh fuck.
I was ready to run through a goddamn wall for that girl.
So I even want to pull it back even further from that, because when you're in so getting to Shinra Tower in the original is like it's massive. And
oh god, that was awful. Fuck Hojo.
You get caught in the original and you get put into cells, and then I believe it's Sephiroth or maybe Reeves who actually releases you, and then you can walk around and find Aerith and find Red 13 and so on and so forth. So completely different because you don't get caught this time. In fact,
no, that was smooth as shit.
Yeah.
That
you don't get caught. Jesus, like you're seeing this shit with Hojo. You're seeing
how many of those pods are either contain clones or are failed clones?
Thousands.
Ugh, at the bottom of the fucking, I forget what he called it. The drum?
Yeah, the drum.
The drum. Oh my god. All of that made me uncomfortable. That entire section going through the research facility made me uncomfortable.
Jesus. I remember.
And Spouse is sitting next to me and he's like, when are we going to fight that fucking when are we going to fight Hojo? When are you going to get to fucking punch that guy? And we don't. And I'm mad about it. And I swear to God, if I don't get to
you do not.
Tifa punch him Tifa uppercut him in his fucking face, I'm going to be really upset because I just want to murder him. He's so horrible.
What's crazy to me is that in the original, when you get to Jenova, it's not that. It's literally like they walk up to like a pod and they look in and there's Jenova and that's it. But in this was fucking cosmic horror. This was Event Horizon shit. This was Dead Space level shit. I was terrified walking in there. I was like, this is fucking disgusting. And then they show all of Jenova, because I don't remember ever getting a clear, visible image of what Jenova was. It's not even really a she, it's just an it. It just happens to have a feminine, quote unquote, feminine form. It's an it. It's a parasite. It's disgusting. Oh my god, I almost threw up. I
couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm gonna have to run that again because I couldn't take in all of it. And I play a lot. I love Silent Hill. I fall asleep to Silent Hill theories, you know.
It was
that kind of grotesqueness. I love creepy monsters, so my reaction to Jenova wasn't it was, oh my god, this is amazing and terrifying. The flashbacks,
body horror shit, yes.
But body horror doesn't bother me the way it bothers some people.
Oh my god,
I don't know why. I guess it's because all of these are flesh prisons. They're all equally disgusting.
Well, I think one of the other things for
Cloud's
me
flashbacks.
Is that, oh yes, Cloud's
up there
flashbacks.
at the top. Oh my god.
All right, so this is this is when it got so kind of fucked up for me and kind of weird. So you see Jenova, you see her in that prison of whatever, that they're pulling the particles that make Jenova up to create. They're mixing it with Mako and they're making these monsters, these creatures, these clones, these disgusting things that Sephiroth potentially could have been. Now, at this point in time in the story, you won't know, as a player, you wouldn't know that Sephiroth was infused with Jenova cells. You learn this later on, which would be like the part 2 of, whatever would come after this. You would learn that later on.
All right. I just want to pause briefly just to point out, for people that don't know, this is probably going to be like Final Fantasy Part 5 if they're going, because they're putting out parts of the game.
It's
not
probably
the whole game.
They've said it's about 3 parts. And so this is where we can drop out of spoilers briefly, this section. and talk about that for a second. Hang on to your discussion about Cloud and
Yeah.
what's fucked up about Cloud's head. But the first disc goes through the escape from Midgar.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a full game. I know there's some people who are fucking upset. They're like, what do you mean it's only the first part of the game? No, I paid $60 for that. You paid $60 for the game. Sit the fuck down. Real-time cutscenes.
Yeah, this Midgar in the original release was about 6 hours total. That's it. It's about 6 hours total. You could get in and out within about 6 hours. I think disc 1 ends with Aerith's death. So once she gets killed by Sephiroth, then you switch to disc 2. Here's the thing that people seem to forget is that most of the rest of the game after Midgar, if it's just the story you're focusing on, you can finish that within about 15 hours. The shit when people are like, oh, I spent 70 hours playing this game.
That was grinding.
You spent about 10 hours in the gold saucer raising chocobos and racing them. You spent 3 or 4 hours doing the snowboarding shit. You spent multiple hours finding Yuffie and Vincent and getting them on your team. Yeah, like you spent additional hours doing you spent time to go get the Knights of the Round. That's not the story. The story is about a 25-hour story, if that. You can literally blast through this thing. And in fact, the last boss battle on the original disc, you can't lose. Because after you kill, quote-unquote, Safer Sephiroth and everything, it's Sephiroth and Cloud standing there, and you can literally put the controller down, and if Sephiroth attacks you, because he will, you auto-attack him, like you counter, and your counter lets you automatically makes you do your limit break, and you kill him. And that's the end of the game. So the actual storyline is only maybe 25 hours long. Y'all are about to get a shit ton of your money's worth in a way that you never would have had before. Because a lot of the shit that people were complaining about was complete filler. It wasn't anything that meant anything. It didn't add to the enjoyment of the game. It didn't add to the breadth of the game. It didn't expand characters.
It didn't expand the story.
Yeah, it's just you fucking around. So, I mean, you more than got your money's worth with literally this release.
I also want to bring up one thing while I was looking through the cast of voice actresses. The voice of Tifa is Britt Baron, who also is a actor on the TV series Glow on Netflix.
Okay, that's where I saw her from. Because I was like, I looked her up and I was like, why do I know her?
Justine Baggy is the character that she plays.
Okay. And then
but I thought that was interesting that the martial artist plays a professional wrestler on another thing.
I know that so Biggs, the way Biggs looks now, everybody's like, he looks like Charlie Sheen. He's voiced by Gideon Emery. And to me, he kind of looks like Gideon if Gideon was cosplaying Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
And then he
if Fenris was cosplaying Charlie Sheen.
and
I mean, I love me some Dragon Age 2, and I loved Fenris. Fight me. Fenris is a great character. Y'all fucking fight me in the comments. I will stand a broody elf boy.
His voice sounds like his delivery is a Charlie Sheen delivery. Like,
but it's beautiful.
Oh, it's great. Like Biggs is so. I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, but in the original game, Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse were throwaway. They were literally tutorial characters. You never know anything about them. You don't care about them when they die. You're just like, all right. Okay,
I feel bad for Jesse.
I almost cried
in the new shit. Oh, I cried.
Oh my god, when Jesse died. Yeah. Okay, here is where we say some spoilers because we're going to talk about character death.
But before we go to the spoilers part, I just want to say, look, when I played the original back in the day, I was really sad when Jesse died. Now,
Bill, you cry at commercials, so
so I'm going to be bawling during this, right? Okay, now spoilers.
Okay, and now
yes, okay,
so you're going to. It's after the it's after the train yard, which is some fucked up shit on its own.
So hold on, before we even talk about these deaths, the train yard, most of that is like new.
Okay, I didn't know that. That is some fucked up shit with the ghosts and the black wind and the whispers.
But there was none of that. Like, you went through it and you just got through it, but there was nothing that was like, so the whispers, for people who don't know, are supposed to be us, are supposed to be the fans who wanted the exact original game. That's what the whispers are. And they're hounding Aerith. And there's theories, and I have my own theory about why they're hounding Aerith. But they're hounding Aerith because Aerith, at this point, her and Sephiroth are the only two people who either understand the whispers or know what the whispers want, in the sense that they know what does and doesn't have to happen for the whispers to go away.
I'm gonna use a mod to keep you alive.
But then after the whole train section was just, it was creepy.
I loved it. It was delightful. It was the right kind of tension, because you're literally trying to go it feels like you're trying to go as fast as you can go because you're on the clock.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to get back. You're trying to get to the pillar so that Shinra doesn't collapse the pillar and then collapse the plate of Sector 7 onto the slums.
Yeah, which is something I had a discussion with my husband about. Because he's like, they're going to drop the plate. They're going to drop the plate. And I said, they're sacrificing everybody from like the upper middle class down.
Yep.
And he's like, no, that's dropping the bottom part. And I'm like, no, babe, they're murdering hundreds of thousands of people.
I know Reeves said there was 50,000 underneath the plate, and there's probably 1 million, 2 million
on that sector. Oh God. Yeah, and that's horrifying. But so you're busting through this train yard, and the way it's set up, there's this tension between how fast you want to go and how it's junk, and there are these little ghosts that Aerith can talk to.
Which was the cutest shit. Like, I can see
it was so sad.
Oh my God.
Did you go and get that one piece of materia? There's like you go like off in another direction, and you get to a box and you open the box. The minute you open the box, the writing comes up and it says wrong way.
Oh yeah.
I was like, well, fuck you for judging me, little creepy ghost children.
Every time the one came up that was sad, I was just like, listen, I'm gonna hear ghost child's story, and that shit's gonna break my heart. And yes, sure enough, it fucking broke my heart. Like, just seeing like, this is what they went through. Now they're trapped here until you can basically kill like the one thing holding them there.
And that was a hell of a fight.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And apparently, because I don't know if you did this, but he holds one of Aerith's weapons. So if you actually kill him, you miss one of her weapons.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to go back and steal.
Yeah, so I'm on my hard mode playthrough now, so I can just go back.
Oh, because you just want to suffer.
I mean,
I cannot.
I'm trying to platinum the game at this point. This is going to be the second game I've ever platinum trophied, and I feel like I can do it, and it's so good. But the plate. Let's go back to the deaths.
Yeah, it's back to the deaths, and then we'll go back to Cloud and his fucking flashbacks, because they get intense when we go, because we're slowly moving forward in time to the point where we're in the drum, and he has the biggest flashback. That's the creepiest, because he's had flashbacks all along. He has a flashback with a guy named Marco. He thinks it's Sephiroth. He almost murders a guy his first night in Sector 7. Tifa stops him, thankfully, because that was some fucked up shit. But Cloud just has these, and it's a very nuanced way of dealing with the mental health issues that Cloud has.
And there's another
that also
side
progresses
of it too.
the plot.
Yeah.
Spoilers, they're not all Cloud's memories. Everybody knows this, but Aerith knows too. And there's a cool scene with that. But The whispers are important because you run into them a few times. The first time they sort of drive Cloud and Aerith together.
Which is
And then
it's funny because during that section, and when Cloud was first walking, Aerith has her back to him. In the original game, she's facing him and walking towards him. So technically, he was going to walk right past her and never meet her until the whispers started messing with her and she started saying, go away. And then he took notice of her. Otherwise, he would have bypassed her, which makes you think, so what the fuck's going on here?
And then they, yeah, they do that. And then they invade Sector 7 and they do some spooky shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, spooky friends? What? So I cuss them out, and you got that fight where they're outside Seventh Heaven, and you have to just grind out this timed event.
And
you don't know how long.
You don't know why they're there. Like everybody's screaming, like, why? What the fuck do they want? Why are they there?
And that's never explained, and I haven't figured it out. I'm gonna have to run that section again too.
All right, so I'll tell you why. Because originally, Cloud was gonna leave. He was gonna wake up and he was gonna leave. And if he woke up and left, he wouldn't have been with them when they went to the next reactor, which he needs to be there. Him, Tifa, and Barrett need to be there. But the thing is that if he leaves, Tifa also wasn't going to go. So Barrett was going to go, Jesse was going to go, and I think Wedge was going to go. Except
Wedge and his fucking cats.
Except Jesse got her ankle hurt, and I believe Wedge had to watch her, which meant now Cloud couldn't leave, and Tifa couldn't leave, and Barrett was like, well, fuck it, I'll just do it by myself. But now Cloud and Tifa were going to go with Barrett, which is what happened in the original game.
Okay.
Because if Jesse went and Wedge went, that changes everything. I wonder why.
But and then you run into Reno in the church after that second reactor. And you have this glorious callback to the Advent Children movie. And the fight in that church. And fuck Reno, he's hard as shit on Classic.
Oh yeah, I now realize, like, after I beat the game, I was like, wow, I suck at playing this game. After watching like people who were really good at combat and what they were doing, I was like, oh shit, I wish I would have really paid more attention to like Cloud's Punisher mode and the Punisher mode period, and how to, because he auto counters if somebody melee attacks him when you're in Punisher mode and you're guarding. And Punisher mode also builds up people's stagger bars faster, which is like, I didn't realize that. And now that I realize that, you can literally just guard and let Reno attack you, and you'll build up his stagger. And then when the things come, you can just dodge around them, walk around them, go into Punisher mode, let him hit you, and you'll still counter him and stagger him. Then you can use like magic to actually magic or grenades or something to actually blow up the electrical things that are like moving around. Because once they're gone, he doesn't have anything that will, do like serious damage to you. And I was like, well, shit.
Except that he's fucking fast.
Yeah, he's super fast. I think that's why they have the Punisher. So you don't have to try to figure out what he's doing. Cloud will just do the work for you. And I'm like, shit, I wish I would have fucking known this. Like,
that's a Final 13 mechanic, is that auto attacking.
And
then you just fiddle with tactics. I wish it was a little bit more like I could fine tune what people are doing. Because that was one of the things I really enjoyed in 13, was that mechanic where I could take control if I needed to and run a character, but also set tactics and kind of manage the battle instead of being constantly intense. But so the Whispers save Cloud and Aerith in the church. And then
the reason why they do in the church, when at first Cloud was going to kill Reno, and Reno's not supposed to die. So the Whispers pulled him and Aerith back so that Aerith also would not be caught, so that they could start escaping, which was the other reason why they also saved her when she started to fall, because she's not supposed to get hurt or caught there. So it's like the Whispers were putting them back on the right path of what was supposed to actually happen, or at least what they wanted to happen, what fate wanted to happen. Which is funny because these things never appeared in the original game. I mean, this shit's spoiler heavy.
Yes.
Oh my god, this game!
And
I
then
could
you
talk
get
about this game all year.
Yeah, and then you get to the pillar, and because about this point in the game, I'm like, oh, the spooky friends are here. What the fuck is going on? And
Mhm.
you're there as your cloud, and you're running up the tower, and you get to Biggs, and the whispers are around him, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, spooky friends? And then
Right.
he has this beautiful speech, and he fucking dies. And I'm like, that sucks. I'm pissed.
I
But
love how he
heroic
clowned on
speech.
Cloud.
Yeah.
Like at the end of it, because he said, what do you say? There's this orphan, or there's was the Leaf Orphanage in Slum 5, and then Cloud's like, yeah, I know the place or whatever, and he says you're supposed to go there, and Cloud's all like, no, you're supposed to go there. And then Biggs goes, what, you don't like kids? And Cloud's like, no. And he goes, why? Is it because you're like one? And I was like, Biggs, you're dying, bro. How can you still like clown on Cloud right now?
Because that's he's the big brother.
Right.
That's especially in the dynamic with Biggs and Wedge. Biggs is the older brother. Biggs the protective. He was the kid in the orphanage who, when he was growing up, that ran the watch for the kids. You get that feel from him, and then he dies, and I'm pissed, and I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. What did the spooky friends do? If they killed my elf boyfriend, I'm gonna fuck them up later. So you go up a few levels, and then there's this great cutscene.
What I think they were doing with Biggs and Jesse was not so much trying to kill them, but to make it so that Cloud actually couldn't bring them back. Because I think if Cloud had gotten, this is how I took it. If Cloud had gotten there like 30 seconds earlier and was able to get to them, because he physically could not get to them because they were in the way, I feel like he could have used a heal spell or a potion or something. But I think in this world, if there's a point in which you are too far gone, nothing can heal you. It's almost like you would just be brain dead anyway.
But then we get to the cutscene at the end.
Right.
So that's some shit.
See, I'm just gonna go to I'm gonna be playing music in between all these, just so everybody else just give the idea what's going on. But I'm gonna cut in then you get that cutscene, right? Then back to more music.
But we'll get into that. We're talking about permadeath in the Final Fantasy universe, and I'm going to shout out to the game theorists and MatPat, which I binge on. He actually addresses it, and it goes into how Phoenix is actually dead, and your Phoenix Down offerings suck, and that's why it doesn't work on Aerith. But so there's this whole thing. We'll throw up a link to it. Because it's a pretty cool explanation. He's done it a couple of times where he's gone back to this Final Fantasy VII permadeath thing, because it doesn't make sense in an in-world.
Where somebody's laying there and you think, I should be able to bring them back.
I have fucking revive magic. Why? What the fuck? I ground that materia up. I already have revive.
The way
on this character. Why are you dead?
Even like in the old shit, like the way I would always think, it's almost like when somebody's heart stops and you're like, all right, well, I can use, I can use the paddles to kind of bring them back, but it doesn't. If you're too far, it still won't happen. Like that's the way I've always thought about it. But now that Final Fantasies are getting so realistic, I know one of the things that Square has done that has helped is that they don't show people dead with like Phoenix Downs. They show them like almost mortally wounded. So like they're down on the ground, they're breathing heavy, they're leaking blood, but you can still bring them back from that mortal wound. Whereas like if it's too far gone, they're too far gone. Like
they've been stabbed by the basilisk.
Yeah, like it's like you just can't bring them back at a certain point. That's how I approach it now. Just kind of because I know 15 does it where like the dude, like your people are basically just on their knees, and then you can kind of just go over and like even in 15, like grab their hand and literally lift them back up, and they're back in the game. Like, yeah, if you're like super leaking blood or anything, I don't think you're gonna be brought back. But I love the game theorist. I fucking love it.
Yeah, but it's a pretty slick theory. But and then you go up and Jesse dies, and I'm super upset because you've picked up Tifa at that point. So Cloud and Tifa are duoing. In my playthrough, they're just mowing down everything. Because if you're thorough, you only miss 2 quests because you cannot physically do all of the quests in one playthrough. You can't do Chocobo Sam and Madame M's quests in the same playthrough of Walmart.
Yeah, you can only do one.
I called it Walmart. Fuck.
Walmart. And then there's also you could miss Aerith's, what is it? Like either one of her, not her limit break, because I got that. A book, I think, or you can't get it until after you finish the game, but it's in the Coliseum, and I'm pretty sure it only shows up after Aerith is gone. So I think you have to go back with chapter select to do one of the things for her, because you need that to actually open up a bunch of shit after you finish that is in the VR missions that doesn't show up until then.
Yeah, the VR missions are cool. The replayability that they've built in is really good. But Jesse says this thing about, I made Tifa cry. What did I say that made Tifa cry? And I'm like, bitch, you're dying. And I don't feel feelings usually, and I'm like, I'm feeling a feeling, and this is uncomfortable.
She said,
how dare you make me feel feelings?
She said, we can all have pizza at my place. And I was just, listen, all right, I needed you not to fucking say that shit, because I stood at that goddamn door while you was in there with and Biggs and Wedge in the kitchen, and y'all were talking for like 85 minutes. I just stood there and I listened to y'all, and then I stared at all the pictures of you on the walls in your dad's bedroom, and I read the little notes and letters that you sent your parents talking about you were in a play and shit. Listen, I didn't need this character development for somebody who was tutorial fodder in the original, but now I'm hooked, and you are best girl in the goddamn storyline, and I'm crying now, and I hate everybody. I hate Shinra, and Rude and Reno can eat all of the dick, and
them in their fucking helicopter can eat a bag of dicks. Cause fuck that was some bullshit.
Right? Oh my, but that was such a badass fight though. Oh my god.
Just, at the top of the pillar,
yeah,
where
that was just,
you're fighting Reno and Rude is will just strafe you in the goddamn chopper. Oh,
he's like, all right, here's the bombs. He said, Reno, get out the way. I'm dropping bombs. I'm like, really? Are you fucking serious right now, dude? Like,
and then yes, he was completely serious and blew everything up. And I'm like, why is all of this?
Oh, fuck.
And it was just chaos. Now, I'm a player of the Tales series, which is great. But a lot of those boss fights are fucking chaos, with these moments where the boss just is like, pose, the limit break words, and then just destroys you. And so all of that training of bouncing around and blocking and roll dodging and looking like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and flailing desperately that I did in the Tales series really helped.
It transferred over to this.
Yeah, because so far I did play some 15, and I did take down some shit that I probably shouldn't have, because I'm like, whoa, that's way over level, and I didn't die. So, but that hopping around like a lunatic really helped. But the whispers are there with Jessie too, preventing
you from being able to bring her back, because she's always supposed to die. So is Biggs. And Wedge, here's what's funny about Wedge.
They save Wedge.
Is that Wedge is supposed to die as well.
But they save him.
And they saved him.
And
but
all
then
his fucking cats.
later on, you find out that he's out there. He comes back, he helps you for a minute, and then he's gone again. And whether he's dead or not, I don't know. I have no idea. He goes flying out of a window with the whispers dragging him along, and I don't know. And all he wanted was Cloud to remember him. So I don't know that part. I don't really understand too much as to why they saved him, because I'm pretty sure he died right there in the original. Like he falls off the tower or he falls off the pillar, and I'm pretty sure he died. That's when he died.
Oh, he wasn't on the pillar. He was in Sector 7.
You know when he fell off the pillar and then he used the grapple.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I'm pretty sure he didn't have a grapple hook, straight up died right there in the original. I'm going to have to, because I'm replaying the original now, but I'm pretty sure he died right there. And there was no mention of him ever in Shinra Tower or anything like that.
And so, then they save Barrett. And that's when Red 13 says that the whispers are the enforcers of fate.
All right, so let's get to that part. Because
that fight right before that happens is some fucked up shit too.
This is like the wildest shit. Okay, so you're going to set the scene for people. You're going into Hojo's lab. You're going to get Aerith. First, you have to fight this weird mutant thing that throws like toxic pools on the ground and does all kinds of other weird shit. I thought that was weird. I was like, whatever. Then you actually go get Aerith, and as you're getting her out, Red 13 shows up. He's trying to get Hojo because Red 13 was in where you were fighting the mutant thing before you got to Aerith. Red 13 was in one of the cells there. And he's been experimented on by Hojo. Like all kinds of fucked up shit has been going on with him. So you get to Aerith, get her out. He goes after Hojo, isn't able to get Hojo. And then he's about to turn on your people. And Aerith touches his head. And in that moment, what I believe she did was showed him not just his future, which is what you see at the end of the original Final Fantasy with him running and like all this other stuff. Not just his future, but everything before that to show that he would know who they were eventually, that he helped them in their quest and this, that, and the other thing. And then that's why he basically goes alongside you. And then you start tripping the fuck out and you see Sephiroth again.
Oh my God, does Cloud trip some serious balls?
This man.
Oof.
But the thing is, and for people this is like their first experience with it, that's not actually Sephiroth. So Sephiroth in the original, you never actually see him until the very end of the game, because everybody that you see that takes on his image is a clone. Is that he's beaming his image to your mind, mostly to the clone's minds, to people who have been touched by him, like Cloud, who can then see these clones as Sephiroth, because Sephiroth is this entire time. Is what Marco is, and the other one, I forget what number Marco was, but you see the other
49.
Twos. Was he 49?
Yeah.
I know that you see number 2. You see a bunch of other ones throughout. And this is the thing that clued me in that. So this isn't Sephiroth, and something weird is going on, because this Sephiroth grabbed Genova's body, but Genova, the body, was the only thing that Hojo had. The head is with Sephiroth in the northern crater and has been there for years at this point. And he's basically been using that head to kind of heal himself, regain power, control his clones, and create what he's calling the reunion, which is that driving force. Is one of the things why Cloud keeps seeing shit over and over again. Keeps seeing Sephiroth, keeps having this feeling like he has to go somewhere. He needs to be somewhere. This is driving force to bring him back and all of his clones back to the northern crater to give Sephiroth more power for his end game. So yeah, Cloud's tripping out. He just seeing Sephiroth fucking everything. Like, then you go into the drum. Jesus
And
fucking Christ.
I mean, we're like, this is Final Fantasy game, and then I'm like, this is suddenly Welcome to Silent Hill level shit.
Oh my god. It's creepy, it's atmospheric. Hojo talking hella shit to you over the intercom.
There's an added level of horror for me. How they drew Hojo.
Oh god, I hate how he looks. He's just nasty.
Here's the thing. I have a friend from Fair
Mm-hmm.
who has the same skull shape and the same penchant for small, round, dark sunglasses.
Oh, Jesus.
And this guy is one of the sweetest human beings you could ever meet. Also, Heidegger reminds me of my boss, Steve.
Oh, Jesus.
So there are these people that, like, if my boss at Fair was a warmongering proponent of the military-industrial complex and a pure capitalist to the detriment of all else, some of the shit Heidegger would say would, come out of his mouth.
Coming out of his mouth.
And I'm like, it's a very Steve-ish thing, but evil. And then Hojo looks like someone I know. So there's this added level of tension and irritation. It's like you're stealing things that are good
Mm-hmm.
in my head in these images. So Hojo is just, he's creepy. He's very Buffalo Bill.
Ooh, that's good.
You get that.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to wear you. He. The things he's thinking about when he's looking at Aerith are either like BTK or Ed Gein or Buffalo Bill. It's kind of that BTK Buffalo Bill, wear you as a hat, but only after I have extracted the maximum amount of torture and pain from you.
So what makes Hojo even fucked up is that. So I can't remember the doctor's original name, but there was a doctor that Hojo served under, and this doctor would not go as far as Hojo did. So when Shinra was originally trying to get Mako energy and trying to figure out what the ancients were and the Cetra were, this doctor basically was able to track down, I believe it was one survivor, so it was Aerith's mother in Falna, and was able to, and when I say Aerith's mother, her dad was this other doctor. And so they, worked together, and Shinra was like, basically, you need to go further. If we don't get what what we need out of her, then we're going to replace you. We're going to hurt her, so on and so forth. So they escaped, and they were living in isolation. They were still trying to kind of unlock the knowledge of the ancients and the paradise and this, that, and the other thing. And they had Aerith. And when Aerith was maybe like 3 or 4, I think, that's when Hojo and them found the doctor and Infalna and Aerith. They killed the doctor, took Infalna and Aerith, and put them where Aerith said she grew up, and basically tortured the shit out of her mom. And her mom took her when everybody was down for the night, took her, and they escaped, and they ended up in the slums, in the Sector 5 slums. And Infalna by that point was dying, and so she gave was it Elmira Aerith and said, raise her, and so
keep her
Elmira,
safe.
Yeah, keep her safe. Elmira knew what Aerith was, and then just as they show in the storyline, Sung came and was like, we're gonna let you raise her, but we might come for her, this, that, and the other thing. The reason why I think that Hojo and them didn't know where she was because Rufus, if I'm not mistaken, didn't, because he runs the Turks. Rufus didn't necessarily want his dad, who's President Shinra, to do a lot of the shit he was doing. So he kind of was doing shit on the side. And so the Turks, even though they're considered like the CIA, FBI of Shinra, they don't really run specifically under the board members and the president. So they kind of run on the side. So they were, in a weird way, they were keeping Aerith safe for the time being, so that somebody like Hojo couldn't like mess with her. But then eventually they couldn't hold that back, thanks in part due to Cloud and Avalanche and other people who kind of intervened and ended up showing all of Shinra where this woman was, where Aerith was. And so that makes it even worse that Hojo was so hell-bent on trying to get her back that it's been 15 something years since he's seen this woman when she was a little girl, when she was gone. And he's been this entire time trying to make almost replicas of her, of things that could potentially unlock paradise. And that's half of these clones. That's half of the monsters that you come across are his experiments. In fact,
They're horrifying.
It's been theorized that almost every monster that's not like a normal animal that you face is one of his failed experiments that at some point in time he just released. And he just was like, all right, we need space. Like, let that thing go outside of Midgar somewhere. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Or like, let it go in the sewers. Just let it do whatever it's doing. And I mean, just like Corneo, like he has Abzu down there. I'm pretty sure Abzu damn experiment, and now Abzu's down there.
Abzu and his fucking babies.
Like asexually, Abzu is just down there
Yeah, we're gonna need to revisit Corneo and all of that goodness here once we're done talking about Hojo and Har.
It's just horrible shit. Just so let's talk about the end here, because
it's some deep shit, and then we'll talk about the non-spoilery shit, so there can be this.
So
there can actually be a pod. Listen to something, yeah.
So continuing on some spoiler shit. The journey to the end is when they get to President Shinra's office. Now, in the original, President Shinra was dead on his desk with Sephiroth's sword through his back. And you're standing there, you're trying to figure out what's going on. Rufus shows up, you fight him, then you basically bounce. You go downstairs, you get...
Well, we skipped they saved Barrett.
Sephiroth... I'm gonna get to that. Hold on.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of the people who are listening, who have played the original and are playing this or beaten this, I just want them to realize the amount of differences that happen, because this, I feel like, was the biggest split. It's where the Whispers didn't have as much power. So at this point, Aerith knows what's going on completely, and Sephiroth knows what's going on completely. As far as I'm aware, they're the two that know what the Whispers are. They know about fate. They know about the entire storyline to the original game. Aerith knows about her death. Sephiroth knows about his death, and then rebirth, and then death again, and then potential rebirth after that. Red 13 knows that humanity becomes extinct at some point in time. So that's what he wants to prevent. And I feel like it begins right here when they walk in there and President Shinra is not dead in his desk. He's hanging off the side. So they pull him up. He talks a load of shit because, Barrett is...
That's what old white men do.
Yeah, he talks a load of shit. Then gets killed by Sephiroth, which, I mean, that's what he was supposed to... He was supposed to die the whole time, so the Whispers wouldn't prevent that. They didn't care. He died. It's cool. But then Sephiroth decides he was going to kill Barrett and proceeds to actually kill him. And
just straight up stabs him.
Straight up just stabs him right in the chest, and he's done. And I said, what the fuck? Because that never happened.
Because there was this... Because Shinra is monologuing, and then shit happens, and then... You don't realize what happens until you see. I didn't realize what was going. It's like, well, There's something going wrong here. And then you see this giant, the Masamune, come through Barrett's chest, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. And I'm like, that never happened. I know that you guys are doing a remake, but y'all are not going to get Barrett off because there are plot points that rely on Barrett specifically. You can't kill him off. Which is why the Whispers brought him back to life.
And Red 13 straight up says, it wasn't your time.
It wasn't your time.
This isn't where you die. And it's like, that's really uncomfortable.
Right. And then, you fight Genova, which was
Well, you fight that Genova Dream. It's called the Genova Dream Stealer or Dreamweaver, and fuck that fight.
That fight was some shit.
Because there's tentacles, and if there's tentacles, you can't attack the main boss. And then I will say the Arsenal was a worse fight in the series of fights from the end of Shinra Tower. Well, from getting Aerith to the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Arsenal was a worse fight because it's just Aerith and Barrett, and I hate controlling Barrett.
Barrett, ooh. So we're going to talk about that too, because I learned that Barrett is actually the best character in the game.
I mean, he's a hella badass tank. Yeah, but I just, with my spatial control, I have problems with his gun arm.
I'm gonna tell you what I found out, and I went, holy shit, I've been playing this game. And now on this playthrough, Barrett is my main healer. And I'll tell you exactly why here in a minute, but
because he's got 1,000,000 fucking hit points.
So actually, I'll just tell you now. So Barrett has 2 skills. One is Still Skin, which allows him to basically take hits and not take a lot of damage. The second one is Lifesaver. So if anybody in your party for the next minute or two takes damage, it gets funneled to Barrett.
Those are tank abilities.
Right. So the reason why Barrett becomes your best healer is because if you put Chakra and Prayer on him, and then you equipped him with abilities in which, if he takes damage, or if he gets crits, or if you put him with ATB abilities that very quickly fill his ATB gauge up, your entire party will never take damage because the other 2 characters' damage will always be funneled to Barrett. And then Barrett can very quickly heal your party back up to full, meaning himself basically. So with Chakra, it's 1 ATB. That means he can heal himself almost to full every single 10 seconds. If that, even faster than that. When I found that out, I went, holy shit. Then
I've been playing the game entirely wrong.
Then I started playing with that a little. Well, I could use Lifesaver and Steel Skin, and I'll put Prayer on him because chances are he'll be far away and he can use Prayer and won't get interrupted and blah, blah, blah. The other thing I realized is that when he's firing, when he does that last fire and the exhaust comes out, if you hit triangle to do the charge, he will actually charge his overcharge, and his overcharge fills up his ATB meter like crazy. So Barrett almost always should have a full 2 bars. And at that point, you're just healing constantly. You're taking all the damage from the party. I said, Barrett is the best damn character in this whole fucking game. Holy shit, this is broken. They are going to fix this for part 2. I know they will. Oh.
Okay, so that's cool. But yeah, and then you fight Rufus, and then you one-on-one duel Rufus as Cloud. And
Jesus Christ.
Rufus and his fucking dog.
Press F in the chat for anybody who thought that they could just fight Rufus without doing counter stance, which is one of Cloud's abilities, or Punisher mode, like I did, and then dying repeatedly and having to reload the game multiple times until you realize that you need to use counter stance on Rufus or the Punisher mode because you are not going to get through Rufus's attacks.
Press an F for you because I didn't die in that fight.
Oh.
I died twice, and that wasn't one of them.
Oh my God.
I took him out again. The Tales of the Tales series, and they're fucking because you fight a lot of duels, a lot of one-on-one where you're alone, and it's just you, and it's usually the hero, the main character, who's usually like a melee fighter, and you have to know how to cover up and soak shit, and then get in there and snipe some hits, and dodge roll, and basically avoid attacks, avoid, or guard, and then get your hits when there's a break. And I think that's the only reason I survived that fight. But fuck that little shit. I hate him.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that was a hard fight.
It was a hard fight, and I hate the character.
Oh yeah, Rufus is a fucking ass. 100%.
Reeves is wonderful, and I want him to not die.
Reeves won't die because, spoiler alert, Reeves is Kate Sith, one of the characters that you get later on. You find out that it's like a robotic cat on top of a big stuffed Moogle.
I know who he is.
Yeah, you learn that Reeves is the one controlling him. So Reeves don't die. He good peeps.
I know. He's like, that was horrifying. I already have a reconstruction plan. We don't need it. What?
Yeah. Which I loved the Kate Sith little teaser when the plate was dropping and Reeves was holding Kate Sith standing there and he dropped to his knees and was like in pain. I said, holy shit. Like they actually put Kate Sith in this game. That's fucking amazing.
See, I didn't understand that they were together as a thing. So my husband's like, who the fuck is that? What is this cartoon cat bullshit? What is going on here? I said, that is the owner of the Golden Saucer where Jesse performed. He is upset because he knows. He thinks that, she's dead, along with a whole bunch of people he knows. He's watching mass murder.
That is, that's our friend Reeves controlling that. I said, oh, fuck yes. They actually put that little dropper in there. Which is nice, because it means that character will show up at some point. Whether
in some capacity.
Yeah, some capacity. Because Reeves was the only person in Shinra that was ever kind of like a good guy. He wanted the best for people.
And he saw them as people. He put people first, not profit, not. I love how they changed one of the big things they changed that people are going to notice right away is Avalanche is really bad terrorists. They fail.
This is the thing
they fail to blow up the reactors. Shinra does that. They're specifically warmongering, and the whole commentary on the military-industrial complex, scapegoating these people who are actively correct.
And are just bad at their...
There's no way they could have built a bomb big enough to fuck up the reactors, is basically what that says.
And I never understood why in the original game they were supposed to be successful. And I was just like, that actually doesn't make sense. If you see who they are, where they are, like we're talking about some of the poorest fucking people on planet Earth. Like they had to, in this game, go into a whole other government facility just to get enough to make something. You'd think that they'd be able to take out these reactors and that power massive plates for millions of people? Hell fucking no. Not even on your best day. And that's why I never understood people like, oh, but why is Shinra gonna be the ones that actually do it? Well, because have you not seen corporations? Do you not know how the actual world works? Because corporations are the ones that would actually sabotage their own shit so that they could put other plans into motion. Like,
yeah, Midgar is a city. It is a nation that is owned by a corporation. It's very Shadowrun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's funny. It's not even. It's like it's Shadowrun, but not even Shadowrun
because there's a lot more magic.
Oh my god!
But are we going to talk about Andrea and Jules? Because we need to talk about Andy and Jules.
Yes. All right.
Because that's mainly what. And then Aerith and Tifa and the. Let me just throw this in there because it's quick, and then we'll talk fashion, because there's some fashion and it's glorious.
Is this a spoily part?
No, everybody knows that Cloud cross dresses, but it's superior. And if you're sad, I guess it's light spoilers.
It's light spoilers just because the characters didn't exist before, but the whole sequence still happened. just slightly different. Like,
yeah, it's
not
like
too
1,000
spoilery.
times better. So we'll preface the deep dive with things are 1,000 times better in terms of relationships, gender identity, representation, queer representation. All of it is 1,000,000 times better than the original.
Yeah.
Aerith and Tifa for best lesbian couple in a video game in 2020.
If people think that either one of these women will end up loving Aerith, if you get the quote unquote date with Aerith, at one point she tells Cloud not to fall in love with her, and even though I know why she's saying it, like she's gonna die or whatever, at the same time I'm like, don't fall in love with her because I'm gonna be in love with Tifa, and you ain't getting a piece of this. I'm sorry, but I need some Tifa in my life.
You damn right.
Well, what I took that with Aerith's dream, where they have that dream walk and they have that conversation, and she says, "Don't fall in love with me. What you feel isn't real." That sequence, she's telling Cloud, "You have a head full of fucked up shit. You don't actually know me."
Half of your feelings are actually, you know that dude that died and you can't remember his name is Zach Fair? Yeah, that was my old boyfriend. You have his memories. I know this now because
because Silverhair and I are on New Game Plus, and the rest of you are just starting the game. Yeah, so
put spoilers around that part.
Yeah, that moment was wonderful and intimate and very sad, and that was where you really knew that she knew what was going on.
Right.
Is when she's like, "This is," but there's a moment when you're going through the sewers, and Aerith is trying to cheer Tifa up, and she says, "So let's think about something happy." And Tifa talks about, "Well, I'm going to go shopping for the bar after we save the world." And Aerith is like, "Can I come too?" And Tifa is like, "Absolutely!" And they're almost like walking like best friends, or there's this, for women who haven't known each other very long. Seriously. They met like 2 scenes ago. They have this wonderful emotional intimacy and lack of rivalry, because
that is
that moment. Yeah, they both turn. They look at Cloud, who's walking behind him, and then they talk to each other. She's like, "Cloud can be our pack chocobo." Blah 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 blah. I think he can carry our stuff, and they're off here doing shit that women who are in groups do, and over here is Cloud going, "What the fuck just happened to my life?" And I've heard this conversation from, like, when I become friends with, I'm friends with a guy, and I become friends with his wife or his girlfriend, and he's like, "I don't know what I just did, but I have a terrible feeling that my life is now very, very, very dangerous." And it's just that moment where these women have decided among themselves that, there are more important things.
And that's why I keep Alice and Noelle separate.
Only because we would destroy you?
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's just that moment is beautiful and tender and real.
Right. Like I think
there's
that's
no
the biggest
force
part is that you also said there's no rivalry. And that's huge, because almost in every single storyline that has 2 women that could be the quote unquote leading woman, they always try to do that triangle shit where the 2 of them are trying to outdo. These 2 are like, "Nah, I support you. No, I support you. No, I'm gonna support you. Okay, we're supporting each other. We're gonna make this shit happen." And I ended up loving both of them for that. And I was like, I don't hate Cloud. I used to hate Cloud. Now I'm like, Cloud is much better written than he ever was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, can y'all just not have Cloud in the party? Put Barrett in the party, because he's overexcited when he blows shit up, and I fucking love that. And I love when Tifa is like, "All right, you gotta calm down a little bit now."
Da, 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 da.
I love when he does that too. I'm like, hell fucking yeah.
It's so adorable. Oh!
And then you just have Cloud, who's just like, I mean, what does he say? He says something like, "Yeah, I knew that would happen," or some shit like that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, cool, man. You're the hero. Get out of here, dude. Like, we want to talk. I want the other 3 to have like conversations and
the
coffee
incidental
and
party
tea
banner is great.
So
But-
there's a lot of banter in this game too.
Oh Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
it's
Yes.
fully voice acted.
Yes.
Everything is smooth. It's a very lush experience.
It really
now,
is.
now I'm gonna need to get a PlayStation 4 because I live for party banter when I
Yes,
play my
It's
games.
and
It's very
the thi-
lush.
the
Then
thing
the
is
incidental dialogue as you're walking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not just like very set places. Like you're literally walking and they're just it
Yeah, they're-
feels very Final Fantasy 15 and just there's banter going on. You can tell that there was a point where I could tell that Barrett and Cloud's interaction and relationship had changed because their party banter changed.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh shit." Because Cloud said something like there was some good moves or something like that and Barrett was like, "You too, man." And I was like, "Whoa." Like y'all are actually having a real holy shit.
Well, see, I enjoy banter in my games so much that every once in a while, when I can't sleep, I'll go on and turn on a YouTube clip of basically all the party banter in Dragon Age 3 or all the party banter in Mass Effect because I
You
just
have
like
to-
listening to the banner.
Yeah, and the incidental dialogue is great because it changes. It feels to me very much like an MMO
Yeah.
where you're in charge of your party, but everybody is a fully realized character and you're walking through. It's kind of Skyrim-y, it's kind of ESO where they acknowledge that shit is happening, and as you build up faction in the various sector slums, hey, that's that mercenary, that's that
Right.
guy, he's
Yeah.
the really helpful thing, and they react to you and to how the story is changing and what's going on, and everybody's like, "Hi, Aerith," and,
Mhm.
you
Oh,
get a
I
feeling of
loved it.
how real these people are, and most of them are poor, brown, or poor and brown,
hmm
or beige.
And I feel like I think I even posted about this that I feel like the representation and diversity was far more like prevalent in this than it's ever been in almost any game I've ever seen. Because in the original, Barrett was pretty much the only black person. I don't think there was like any other black people at all. And in this, there was a sea of black people, and none of them talked. They all spoke how they spoke, and there was people who were leaders and teachers and doctors and lawyers, other mercenaries, thugs. There was just a sea of different voices, different looks.
Types of people.
And I saw a shit ton of like afros. I saw a bunch of ethnic dress that would make sense. I saw, and then like I kind of commented on this when I was talking to my roommate about people in Walmart, but I saw big people in like skimpy clothes, and it wasn't the skimpy like these are prostitutes. It was like, no, these are just normal city goers who came to Walmart because they wanted to party for the night. But it was enough that I could recognize that they had a crap ton of different models, that people weren't just static people, that it appeared that they were very much randomizing everything, just like you would see in real life. And it was amazing.
It's really part of that lushness. Now, I came into the game knowing that there's this scene where Cloud cross dresses and that it's really cringy, and it was even cringy back in '97.
So 97. The way that you get to this part, right? For the people who don't know, I gotta set the scene. You need to get to Don Corneo because you need Don Corneo to tell you how to get to the next part of your quest, so on and so forth. And plus, you had to rescue Tifa because Tifa was like, I'm trying to get in there and figure out what he's doing. And I feel like if I can become one of his mistresses, wives, whatever, I can get information about the next part of whatever the quest is. Cool. So Aerith says she's going to go in there. Cloud is like, yo, nah, I'm going to go up in there. Like, we got to figure out what's done. So in the original, you go to a sauna that is nudge, nudge, wink, wink, a gay sauna to get, I believe, underwear or something. And you got to pile into a hot tub with a bunch of dudes. And there's a bunch of stuff that makes it seem like it's homophobic. And then there's just a bunch of other stuff that's kind of like transphobic, like, oh, we can put makeup on you, but boys don't wear makeup type of shit. And boys don't wear dresses, and like just a bunch of stuff where it was very gender specific. And I mean, it's 97.
Everything was cringy then.
Yeah,
we're in a better place now.
There's no excuse for it then, but it's like it's 97, so we know that majority of the people were just going to be like, that's just the way it is. So
fast forward to 2020.
Noel, what did they do?
So you have to do some shit. The squats competition is still in there, but
Yay!
you walk into the gym, and it's Cloud and Aerith, and you've got the two of them, and Aerith is this soft thing, and Cloud is just, trying to be a hard ass. And you walk in, and you meet Jules in the gym.
Jules.
And I looked at Jules, and I, kind of side-eyed because my spouse is sitting next to me. Literally sat through pretty much all 35 hours of the playthrough and was delighted the whole time. But side-eye, I look at it and I go, that's either a trans woman or a very femme guy, and I don't care which. Because
Jules was amazing.
Jules has very femme features. Like, for all of the guys that you have run into in the game to that point, somebody has clearly put on their full face before going to the gym. And you've got this is like could compete in the Arnold Expo bodybuilder with makeup on. So we're femme, we're non-binary. You don't know and you don't care because Jules is amazing. And you have to win the squats competition as part of Chocobo Sam's quests. It's like Chocobo Sam's requests to get, while Aerith is off at Madame M's, which is a hand massage parlor now, and she fucking wrecks Cloud's hand. I don't know what this woman does, but she destroys this man. And then she's like, we're going to make you fabulous, honey, and disappears with Aerith and sends Cloud off to go do shit. Part of which is doing the squats competition. And it's annoying. It's like playing Simon, and I did okay. I won, and I'm never going to do it again because, again, spatial relations and me don't get along, and buttons, no. But the gym is amazing because the gym is it's a very queer friendly space.
100%. I think one of the things for me is like walking in, you look at Jules and you're thinking multiple things. Like you're thinking Jules is actually just one of the side characters. It's not the main honcho at the place. Jules very handily tells, and I don't even know who the dude was, the first dude who challenges you, but tells them like, you can't look at somebody's build and think what their strength is. Like you can't, and that to me was, you can't just look at somebody and think you already know what they're capable of, who they are, what they are. You can't look at, and that coming out of Jules' mouth. Jules, I don't think anybody ever acknowledges gender with Jules. Jules is there to work out and to make people feel good. And honestly, that's all that matters. And that's why Jules, to me, is such a good character, because you're looking at this character and this character does not fit the Arnold classic look. And yet this is the character that's leading this entire place. And we all know that
it's their gym.
It's their gym. For people that are gym heads, like the person who's leading that gym, like you're the strongest, not so much because you could lift the most, but because your energy, your charisma, who you are as a person radiates throughout the entire place. And Jules radiates that. I'm in love with Jules. I don't care. Jules to me is non-binary. Like as soon as I walked in, I was like, Jules is non-binary. That's what it is. And I'm like, if anybody has any issue, they are non-binary. We will take it to the streets. If you call Jules a he or a she, we will take it to the streets. Jules is they, and that's just how it is.
It's never confirmed one either way, so the only appropriate thing to say is they.
Right.
But
and I was just,
Jules is also a very androgynous name because it can be short for Julian, it can be short for Julia.
Right.
So you don't know. It's so fluid and ambiguous with this character. And to have this person be so prominently involved in this side quest is a big deal. And you do your fucking quests and they're annoying. And I mean, because they're side quests and you're killing time.
And then...
And you fight in the arena and you catch Andrea's attention because you're Madame M's sponsored champions.
Mm-hmm.
And so Andrea and Sam and Madame M are all in the box. They're watching the two of you fight. So I guess you do the tournament before Aerith goes and plays dress up, because you don't want to ruin any of it. What happens to Aerith, because that's some gorgeous shit. But you catch Andrea's attention, and you only see glimpses of like a jawline with just the perfect amount of stubble and a little bit of an outfit, and you're like, I don't know who this is, but they're fabulous. And again, Andrea, there's just some plastic identity in there that is intriguing, because I'm into it. It's like, it's Andrea, and Andrea runs the Honeybee Inn and does burlesque, and what is going on here? And is this gender fuck drag? What's happening? I have enough drag culture knowledge stored in the back of my head now to, are we a bearded queen? What's going on with this person? And then you get you get where Andrea wants to meet with Cloud, and it's just Cloud. And it's after you've run it, you've picked up Aerith, you go back to Madame M's, you get the call to go to the Honeybee Club and meet Andrea, and Aerith is like, I'll meet you there. And you run off with Cloud, and you're like, well, this is going to be interesting. What does this intriguing person want with me?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do a fucking, like Simon Says, quick time event, which sucks, and I hate it. And you have to do the thing twice. I did actually pretty well.
The first one is practice.
Yeah. The second one, I actually did a lot better. I did really well. I don't know what sort of zen I was in, because there was a lot going on the screen. But basically, Cloud gets dragged onto the stage to be part of Andrea's performance for the night. And Aerith is in the crowd, and Madame M is there, and it turns into this beautiful, we're going to make you up. We're going to, turn you into, a femme presenting individual. Mm-hmm. Now, the outfit I got was Cloud in a little black shrug with black mesh, like, opera glove sleeves with the fingers open. I've got a picture of me wearing something similar. Little black shrug, a corset that is drawn correctly, tied in the wrong spot in the back, but the corset is drawn correctly. And when Cloud moves, Cloud is moving correctly, or more correctly than you usually see people move in a corset. The body carriage is different because your core is a little restricted. And this really full black skirt. And this fascinator, black flower, it's really pretty, and these fucking pigtails.
So
Andrea, you said
Andrea
in a post,
never, not French braid or something. Andrea would you telling me that Andrea, who had the best choreography on stage and was able to get Cloud to sync up with him, who is dancing,
that was some intense shit too.
Fabulous.
That was hot.
The lights, the music. I said, "Holy shit! I need this game. Like, can we just have this game? Like, no other game? Can we just have this?" like over and over again, or what are we doing here?
I don't know what's happening, but it's intense. I'm kind of turned on, and I'm also really confused. What is going on?
You're telling me that Andrea, who is the most fabulous, that it takes potentially years for honeybees to actually become honeybees within that establishment, that Andrea is gonna put pigtails on Cloud. I don't care
especially those terrible. I mean, those were badly. Those were badly done extensions.
They were
Horrible.
Trash.
And I've seen the other outfits, because you can get 3 different outfits for the mission. Aerith has 2 others, and Tifa has 2 others unlocked by telling her earlier in the game, pick a type of outfit.
You guys didn't get to witness what just happened, because I've had my headset on mute. Talking about this, I've been basically laughing to death listening to you guys go off about this.
Well, because I need you to understand, these fucking pigtails.
Oh my god.
Andrea would never on your life. Never. I don't care if that is to throw back to the OG.
I don't fucking care.
You don't add this character that never existed. You do not add this character into the game with this fabulousness and then throw those pigtails on this man.
Look at this. You don't throw those pigtails on any human being. Look at that. Look at that. It's terrible.
That looks like something from a Try Guys video, like Try Guys try hairstyling.
It just makes me mad because the outfits, everything else is just perfect. Like the presentation is perfect.
Cloud is flawless, and there's a reference when you get to Corneo's and you get to Tifa's, and Tifa's waking Cloud up, and she doesn't recognize him right away.
Right. Because
she's not expecting him. So of course you don't see the person you know when you're not expecting them. It's something I've noticed at Fair. Somebody out of garb you don't recognize. So out of context people you process.
You don't, yeah.
And Cloud is just like, Tifa, you're fine. And she's like, wait, Cloud? Yeah. But the hair, the dress, your makeup, nailed it. I know.
Which I love. Like,
I loved it because
Andrea
he's not weird about it.
Right. Andrea, when he pulled away and he said that beauty has no gender. Beauty has it has no form. It is what it is. And this is very telling because Cloud doesn't react in why am I wearing a dress? He has no reaction to it. He knew
wearing a dress was going to be a thing.
Right. And he doesn't play it up in any like, oh Jesus, like I feel weird. Like there's at no moment, even when Aerith sees him, she at no moment is like, oh my God, she's like, you're beautiful. Like, oh my God, like she is just captured by beauty. And she realizes like, and I think this is why I was really, really happy about it. It's like, it's very telling when you have a property like this. Like Final Fantasy property is a big property. It's one of the tent poles of gaming. You've dropped Final Fantasy, Mario, Zelda. Like these are tent poles. Halo, all of these things are tent poles. When people think gaming, even if you're not a gamer, you will know what one of these things are. Final Fantasy is that. This is the most anticipated game in like years. It's like this and like Animal Crossing are the 2 games probably would end up being games of the year this year. For them to be in the middle of this game to say gender has no beauty, clothing has no gender. You can be anything that you want to be, just be fabulous, be yourself, and don't make anybody else feel bad about who they are is fucking huge.
It's never be afraid to who you are. Andrea looks Cloud dead in the eye at the reveal, and you, the player, are sitting back going, holy fucking shit, because it's amazing. I've posted a picture in our chat because of all 3 of the outfits, and I mean, they're not amazing. I mean, the blue corset one is probably my favorite of the 3. But there's pigtails in a couple of them, and pigtails upset me. But one of them has like extensions that they put in well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of this shaggy Joan Jett hair, which is cool. Just the life is gender neutral. Go and be fierce.
Right.
And don't be afraid. And yeah, this is one of the biggest. This is old guard gaming. This is when you think of the NES, there are 3 or 4 titles: Final Fantasy, Mario, Link, and maybe Dragon Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of RPGs,
Sonic.
those are your. Sonic isn't an NES.
We now know that Bill never plays video games.
No, because I was thinking because you said NES and then we've been talking about Final Fantasy VII, which was on the PlayStation. So it's more of a. I see what you're getting at when you're saying that now. I got confused for a moment.
That's okay. That happens. But these are the cornerstones. These are cultural touchstone properties.
Okay, Metroid. That would be the other one I'd say. Yeah.
Metroid would be one, but that's very niche. Which is sad because Metroid is. People freaked out when they figured out that Samus Aran is a girl. Which was awesome.
I wouldn't say that. My stepfather freaked out when that happened because my older sister beat Metroid 1 in front of him in like 45 minutes. And just to show him that Samus was a girl. And he was like, 1, how did you beat this game in 45 minutes? And 2, what the fuck?
1, it's called speedrunning.
Bingo.
And this is on things before it was hard to glitch and hack. Because, games weren't nearly as glitchy as they are now.
The only way he was able to beat Metroid 1 was with the Game Genie.
So, yeah. Wow. I remember the Game Genie, too.
I still have one in my closet.
But, this Final Fantasy game being a cultural touchstone in gaming history.
For a lot of people, this was their first Final Fantasy ever. Ever.
Yeah, because there are people who are younger than me, I know. There are people who don't know the joys of Rat Tail.
I didn't beat Final Fantasy 1. I got to the point of it where they, like, quote-unquote, grew up at it, and I, stopped playing.
My brother saved over my game.
That was another reason why I didn't play that a lot, because you only had the one save. Then I skipped to 7, and then I skipped to 10. So for me, Final Fantasy is more of a Sony property than a Nintendo property. Because I beat it I beat 7 and 10. So that's why I don't think of it as a Nintendo property, so to speak.
I think this is the first Final Fantasy game I have beaten. Because the grinding got me down, and it's very not a grindy game, which is great, and something that we can pull and move to the not spoiler section. But I'm always going to come back to the rewrites where there's no rivalry between Aerith and Tifa Cloud's attention. There's because he's just there and a part of their life, and they got shit to do. They don't have time to be fighting over a boy.
Right.
That's really beautiful. Just Aerith in general, because I never got to meet her the first time. She's just a lovely character, and she's very supportive. With Cloud, she's like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. You look amazing." And, she's that friend. And, she's got a steel core, but she's so soft. And in and she's like, she says something at the end, I miss the steel sky. I don't want to leave the city.
Oh
This
my
is my
god,
home. And just that, you get this feeling that because of of everything we've spoilers, the her connection to the game, that's one of those things where you really feel how much did, because she never hesitates. There's never a moment where she's like, I don't want to do this. You can see, I wrote about this on Facebook when I got done playing it, is how important Aerith is in gaming as a female character, as a lead character, and how, important Tifa is as a lead character. Because after Final Fantasy VII, women's roles changed. Because I remember Cecil and Rosa and Kain in whatever Final Fantasy that was.
4.
Is it 4-4? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay. And then Celeste has that romance arc, and that's her driving thing. And then Terra has whatever her fucked up shit is in 6. But 7 is really where the women of Final Fantasy came into their own. Well, 7 is where you saw that. I didn't play a lot of 8, but you got characters like Quistis, and the women in Final Fantasy 8. And then you get to Final Fantasy 9 and you get Garnet, who is an incredible nuanced character. And then you get to Yuna and Lulu and and Ash in 12, and Lightning and Fang and Vanille, and even Freya, who's a mouse but female, in 9. These women who are soft and strong at the same time, who are involved in the story for much bigger reasons than the main character who is male. I can see this is really where it started.
Mm-hmm.
And that this game is important, and this remake is important culturally for gaming for so many reasons. And it just makes me angrier at 15, because I really feel that they betrayed everything they've built with women by giving us a game with 4 guys following the path of an extremely brave woman. I want her game. I don't want the Final Fantasy 15 we were given. I want to play her story. Her story is fascinating because she's on her own. And she knows what the actual stakes are. And I can see where because I don't remember her name. Luna? I think something light related. But all the way to 15, you can go back in time and you can see how through Yuna, the woman who is willing to die. She's what, 18? And she is joyfully going to her death because she's trying to save the world. And then you go to Aerith, and now Aerith in 7, in the remake, who knows what's going on. She also doesn't hesitate to act and do what she needs to do. And there's incredible speeches that you can look them up on YouTube if you want to spoil them for yourself, because I can't remember them. I was too busy being in awe of this girl in a pale pink dress with a big pink bow in her hair, who's been nothing but soft and kind and sweet. And she didn't want to fight. She surrendered willingly to protect Marlene. She does all of these selfless things. And then she gives this speech that really I was ready to destroy everything in my path for her. I love this game. It's not even a whole story, and it's one of my favorite all-time games.
Yeah, I'm going, like I said, I'm going back to hard mode right now with an appreciation for Barrett's ability to apparently just be a single healer and heal everybody. Aerith is going to be a black mage and blow everything apart. And then I guess Cloud will be my third and just try
I
to
don't know
limit
if we're
break
gonna get
everything.
to a 4-party. Wasn't it a 4-man party in the original?
No, it was only 3.
It was only 3?
Yeah.
I'm so frustrated with that. I'm like, I just need one more person. And then I can really balance things out. But I'm trying to have everybody be balanced so that when you are solo, like, because you have some Soul Latifa moments, and I realized, fuck, I really should be controlling her more because this is effortless, beautiful. All of her animations are beautiful and very strong and very correct.
When you
And
learn how to string all of her moves together, because she plays like a fighting game character, it is brilliant. I've never seen any character ever animate like that. It is just gorgeous.
Yeah, you boost her triangle up all the way, and then you chain the abilities together, and then
So
when
if
the
you
last
have,
one hits, you triangle, and then if you're lucky and she's got power, and she can limit break, you can pop limit break, and you can somersault kick. I took out a couple of bosses somersault kicking them in the face, and it was so satisfying because it's beautiful. And she moves like a fighting game character.
yeah, if you do the uppercut one that she has, which is like the lower triangle for anybody who is just now listening to kind of the non-spoiler part, and you have ATB and you do the dive kick, you can dive kick off of them and then do another, if you have like another unbridled, or if you charged up an unbridled immediately, then you can continue doing it and then go into a limit break. I was like, Jesus Christ, this woman moves like a fighting game character. She is so fast, so fluid. Like, I didn't want to switch off of her, even though I know I needed to switch off of her to actually do stuff on another character. But it feels good. She just feels good. You can go into like the VR missions and just, it's brilliant.
She's just, it's the love and attention the team brought to the game. You know, it's the attention to detail in the making a diverse world, but just the animations. Like the way Aerith's hair moves, or the way the cloth moves, or the fact that Cloud in a corset is going to stand differently than Cloud not in a corset. Just those little subtle things. And then the chin-up competition between Tifa and Andrea after you get out of the sewers. Just that little thing where there's that balance of softness and strength, and you know, you can be a gym rat, you can, and also, you know, run a burlesque club and, you know, do, I don't even know how to qualify the performance because it's a little bit burlesque. Oh, it's a lot burlesque, but then, you know, I don't quite know what other elements are coming in. But just that embrace of, you know, you said bodies feeling sexy in Wall Market. They're not wearing a lot. They're just out to have a good time. They're not perfect. And then
It's great. Like, it's just, I feel like this was a real living world that was more progressive than ours in some ways, but then regressive in others.
Well, it's very dystopian, but the Undercity is where all the, you know, because that's where minorities get put. That's where marginalized people are. The Wall Market is really progressive because that's all they have. And then there's that dynamic of people from the plate come down and go to Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that elite appropriative culture will come and partake and then take away things for themselves. And, just that idea that what is really life for the poor in Midgar, that progressive, that fluid, that gray areas, and that realness is like a tourist thing, and how close to life that is. Because I know at least one of us in this chat has had the go to a drag show or go to a gay bar, and you can tell who the tourists are.
Mhm.
Okay, in a couple cases it was me, but I was trying to not be weird and be and other the people there, because I was there to actually support somebody who was doing a show that night in one case, and then I forget the other reason. It might have been a bachelorette party, but I was there because I understood what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there to just be a straight chick in a gay bar because it's safe. No, I was there for for real cultural reasons, and to learn and broaden myself. It was neat, but you get that sense, especially when you're in the train stations and you're dealing with. Fuck, we lost him.
When I heard the beep, I was like, "What? Did Craig go down?"
No, it was Warren. We lost Warren. But
we'll see if he pops in really quick.
I mean, we could literally talk about this forever.
I've been sitting here basically living vicariously through the two of you, enjoying the fuck out of this game. And it makes me so happy to hear two of my friends just goob over their fandom type excitement about something when I I know a little bit, basically know nothing about.
It's well worth the price of admission. I'm so happy with it. I'm really glad I don't have the original to compare it to. And this is some spoiler shit. I love the fact that, and if Warren comes back, we'll talk about it with him too. I love the fact that in the last fight sequence, you fight this thing called the Harbinger of Whispers. And I forget which party member says, "What the fuck is that?" God, they swear a lot, and it's glorious. It's very real. Say fuck and shit and damn it. It's just, it's very, the dialogue is very natural and very real, and it's not cleaned up to be family friendly, which is awesome. But you say, "What the fuck is this thing? This giant monstrous thing?" And you've kind of gone through a portal and you're not quite in time. And all
right, Warren said his Discord just died.
Okay.
Let me see if that means he's going to be able to reboot it or not.
Okay, I'm just going to keep babbling. So you're fighting the Harbinger of Whispers, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And you beat the first phase, and you have like a flashback, but not. And it's a cut to like the opening of the Advent Children movie with Red 13 with a pack. And then there's another what the fuck moment. Because they're like, what did we just see? And Aerith says, that's the timeline they're trying to protect. So what I am super duper excited about in future is if my suspicion is correct and they go a different path with, say, Aerith's character and she doesn't die. Because really, that was one of the most bullshit murders in the history of art. Because it didn't really serve anything except shock value.
Right.
So it was kind of dumb. So yeah, the shock value now is that she doesn't die. Because that's what everybody's expecting. But the screaming that is going to come after that, if this is what happens and she lives, the purist screaming, but my childhood. Anyone I hear complaining about that, I am going to reference that fight with the Harbinger of Whispers and say, you literally killed off that timeline. Because you win that fight.
Yep.
So, explicitly from the devs, from the game developers, from the script writers, from everybody on this project, they said, this is not the same game. They put it in a character's mouth. They had you literally kill avatars of the old timeline in an epic. It's an incredible fight, and it's exhausting. And then you fight Sephiroth. So, that fucking sucked. Because that's another it's this long set of battles, and it's a multi-stage boss battle.
Right.
And they warn you, like, before you go through here, you're not going to come back to Midgar for a while. Did you save? Did you stock up on potions? With this big warning that's a giant boss battle sequence. Stock up on shit. Which is great. Is he going to be able to come back?
He doesn't think so. He's trying to see what he can do.
Okay, well, I got my little screaming about the end of the game. And if he can't make it back, tell him he doesn't need to make it back.
I told him that we're going to wrap it up, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
If he wants to scream about it more, and this is a popular episode, we can do more. And we can deep dive into little bits of it.
Yep. But we'll go through and wrap things up. Thank you, Alpha Riff, for going through and screaming about Final Fantasy VII with Noelle, and also telling us about Animal Crossing for those that are completely noobs and don't understand what the fuck is going on.
I still don't understand what the fuck is going on, but it sounds adorable, and I'm here to support everybody who's enjoying it.
My viewpoint is, if you're not actively hurting somebody else, let people enjoy things. That's all you do. If people want to play Animal Crossing, let them. All right. I'm just double checking one thing.
If you haven't burned all your stimulus money getting out of debt, throw some money at your favorite artisan and artists. They're fucking hurting. Find an entertainer. Send them some grocery money and just be like, here, dude, have some grocery money. Buy gift cards for your salon. Support the small people right now, because we're all each other has.
You can also support your models that might need to do other things too.
Oh, we're gonna. That stuff should be here.
But thank you again, Alpha Riff, for being on. His Patreon is patreon.com /AlphaRiff. /Alpha Riff. So go throw him some money. He's helped us out with that, and I'm literally going to be like, okay, is there any specific songs that you want me to use? Because I'm seriously considering, like I said, going through and all the spoilery stuff. The first part will be like, oh, music. And then break, then music, then break. But Patreon's gonna get like the whole entire.
Yeah, we're protecting people who haven't finished the game yet, or haven't gotten it yet, except for Bill, because Bill has to listen to this. But we're protecting you behind some pretty cool shit that Alpha Riff has recorded. If you want to know all of the screaming, throw some money at our Patreon, because it'll all be there. Scream at me on the web. Scream at me on Facebook.
We're gonna survive this, but we're gonna have to do it together.
Yes.
That being said, I think that's a good way to end everything off. My name is Bill.
And I'm Noelle.
And thank you again, Alpha Rift. And see, we all have an X-Chromosome. Good night, folks.
Craig, get out.
And Craig did the other shit.